Hi, and welcome to Business as Usual. Got my friend Peter Berson with us today. In today's episode, we're going to talk a little bit about marketing and digital marketing. Welcome to the show, Peter. How you doing?
Good, Kevin. Thank you for having me on the show.
So, Peter, one of the challenges, a lot of us go out, we start a business, and then we realize, I got to do some marketing. So what are some of the things people should consider when they're starting a business in regards to marketing?
Well, yeah, it's a very important piece that some people overlook when they're starting a business. And marketing is a very generic term. It can mean digital. It could mean putting a sign on your business, putting a decal on your car, doing direct mailing. But all of those pieces need to be considered when you're starting your business, because if you're starting a brand new business, nobody knows who you are. Maybe you're going to talk to some of your friends and family. Maybe you're going to, if it's a smaller business, do some farmers market out in Drake. Yep. I believe has farmers market. That will get you some exposure, and then you start to think about, well, how am I going to be found online? And that's when we start to look at digital marketing. And that digital marketing means, well, if you're going to start a business, you're probably going to want a website, and then you want a presence on the other platforms, which are the social platforms like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram are pretty much the three main ones. And you can go Pinterest and LinkedIn.
So Peter, one of the things I find interesting is a lot of us, I feel, we're naive. I was having a conversation with an entrepreneur last week, and she is selling some products. And she's like, oh, everything will be great. My website should be up, and we're just going to crush it. Is it really that easy? You just put up a website, and and everyone just comes running to it, and you make millions of dollars? Would be sweet if it was.
I would love for it to be that easy.
Yeah. But it's just interesting because she was really convinced. Because she's an entrepreneur, and it's a younger business, younger person. And she's like, I put a lot of quote unquote effort into my website, something we all say,
right.
Meaning we wrote content, I wrote some really top notch content, and it just really, she honestly truly believed. And you're like, well, it's really not that simple. There's a lot more involved.
Right. Well, first of all, if you're a new website, Google's not going to know about you yet. It will take organically a while for that to happen, for Google to learn about you. There are some things we can do to help that along and speed up that process. A little bit of analogy is like, well, you can get from point A to point B anywhere in the country. You can walk, you can drive, or you can take a plane.
Yep.
A lot of us will spend the money to go to California via the plane because we want to get there.
Sure. But
part of that piece is you can't just walk up to the airport and say, I want to go on a plane to California. So there's a preparation part, and you were talking about content. Well, there's certain things you need to do before you get on that plane, just like certain things you need to do before you produce that website. Is you'll generate the right content, do the layout properly, and then do the things that Google wants you to do to be found through their system. So yeah, it's not that easy.
I just find a lot of people want to rely on friends and family. I'm sure you see it in your business as I do. You talk to people, and I guess we all lean on that old expression, you got to spend money to make money. And a lot of people are often hesitant. They're like, well, I don't need to market. And I'm like, well, tell me what type of business you're in that you don't need to market, because I've never seen one,
right.
That you don't need to market, whether even if it's, there's always going to be competition, because I was going to joke, well, you're a funeral home. I guess we all have to use you at some point in time. But yet there's multiple ones. So, so it doesn't mean just because you have something. So like I said, I think, people have to give some consideration to that. But, Peter, it's overwhelming though. I mean, that's, I think, the biggest issue in the marketing game is, we start with the website. But I find, I joke, the worst question I get from clients is, I need a website. Because I feel like I turn into a used car salesman. I'm like, well, how much money do you have to spend? Well, why does it matter? It matters a lot. Because the people are at different price points for developing it. And, we need to know what type of website do you want? Is it going to be, I call it a brochure website. You're going to put it up and probably never look at it again because someone told you needed a website. So I call it a checkbox. All right, I started a business. I met that Peter guy. He said, I need a website. I have one. So they go out and do whatever they need to do and buy it wherever they need to buy it from. But it's a lot more than just a website, right?
Right. So when you start your business and you want an online presence, you need to decide what is the main primary purpose of that website. Some of it sometimes is pretty easy. If you're a store that's selling online goods, well, that's an e-commerce site.
Yep.
Your website's slightly different. You're trying to, one, promote networking, but I would say primarily your primary reason for your website is to gather people's information so that you can put them on a mailing list and
Yep.
you can invite them to networking events. So it could be e-commerce, it could be a subscription model, it could be to buy a book. When you put out a book, you may rely on Amazon to push it,
Right.
but most new authors have a website talking about their book, testimonials. So that's one piece, is like figure out what that primary purpose of that website is. And then the other piece, when you land on that website, what do you want the person to do? And that's known as a call to action.
Yep.
Do you want them to buy the book? Do you want them to book a meeting? Do you want them to get a quote for painting your house? There's got to be an action you're asking the user to do when they land on that website. And I would say that's the main two things that you want to think about. This is before we start talking about search engine optimization when you're building it.
So Peter, do I just want to go out and use one of those low-cost services? Might cost me $500, $800 and just get a website? I guess my question is, are all websites created equally?
No, there's a difference between creating a website and getting found on Google.
Yep.
There are two pieces. You can go out and make the most gorgeous, think about it, a gorgeous mansion, but if you put it on the middle of the ocean, nobody's going to really find it.
Yep.
So you may want to look appealing. There's a couple of things you want to do for Google to really like you. One is we view websites on multiple platforms, so you want to make sure that not only has a primary purpose, not only has a good call to action, but if you open it up on their phone, it's formatted correctly. It's mainly known as a responsive website design, that it's formatted correctly for that phone. Things might change when you're loaded on the phone. If you're a plumber, that call to action may be emergency, click here to dial my number, right?
Sure.
If I'm looking up a plumber on a website on my mobile phone, it's probably I'm standing in a puddle of water.
Nice. Yeah, it's a great point and stuff. And a lot of people just don't give a lot of consideration to that. I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but everything you read and just think about your own life, we're spending more and more time looking stuff up on our phone. I have a lot of people that don't even own a laptop or a desktop anymore. They're like, why would I? I have a tablet, I have a phone, I could do everything I want on that. So that has to be a big consideration, right?
Yeah, and a lot of sometimes if we get into analytics, we're monitoring if people are leaving your website, why are they leaving? Where do they come from? One thing is that Google Analytics is a tool that you plug into the website that feeds all the data into Google. They'll tell you which device they're coming, which platform, is it mobile, is it tablet, or is it desktop? They'll go down into the next levels, like which operating system it is, which operating system on the phone or on the desktop, which version of the operating system. So now I can get enough data to know, well, why is the Android Lollipop users way lower than the other one? Why are they bouncing off the site? Well, you know what? It might be telling you that on that particular operating system, your site's not loading properly. So maybe you want to look at that and go back to your website designer and say, hey, can you take a look at this and find out why that is?
So Peter, why don't I just skip the website altogether? I can just use social media. It's free, man. Not a really great idea?
Well, so it's a different, so websites are more of a static, it changes, but not, social media is more of a community. So I look at them as two different places. I need a website to go to find information potentially about pricing, what are your hours of operation, what are the services that you're offering. I go to the company's Facebook page to find out what's happening today at that page. What are people talking about this company? What events are happening? Who's commenting on that? Facebook gives you a review, which is good. I would suggest you focus on Google reviews first before Facebook reviews. But it helps to develop a community, and I think there are two different places. The website's like your online store. If you were to walk into a business, think of that's your online store. Facebook and Instagram is the print part. If you were to pick up a flyer, it gives you print, like what are the specials of the week.
Now, Peter, one of the terms we use all the time is digital marketing. But I think the average person has no idea what it means. So when they hear digital marketing, they think, oh, it's just marketing. What is digital marketing? Why is it different from traditional marketing, if you will?
Right. So, I mean, digital marketing is less of a physical form. Traditional marketing is direct mailers. You know, and this is still common today. If like a construction person's doing a remodeling around your house, I guarantee you're probably getting, A&M Construction Company. We're doing some work down the road. You know, here's our flyer,
Yep.
and that's good. I mean, it's kind of traditionally way of doing it, or the typical, the coupons. Like that's traditional marketing. Digital is more on your online presence. All the web properties like your website, a paid search campaign through Google or Bing, or Facebook, the social platforms. Email marketing is considered digital marketing. Things to that effect. Lead capture, where if somebody goes to your website, you want to record that conversion. You know, you got their name and address, but that wants to be recorded in some system. So you can automatically send them a thank you letter, and then you can do what we call as a drip campaign and feed them information that's related to them.
But I find a lot of people have been doing direct mail for years, and because they understand it, they just want to stick with it. It makes sense. Don't you need a combination of maybe some direct mail and some digital marketing?
So yes, I'm not knocking direct mail and print mail. The piece that digital marketing is where the intersection of the two come together. If you're going to do a direct mail, you want to be able to measure it. These companies that coupon, they'll say, hey, we can reach, I don't know, some large number,
Sure.
usually in the thousands,
Yeah.
right? But I know that mail comes in, and a lot of times it goes from the mailbox into the recycling bin or into the shredder.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Right, you've just paid for somebody to shred your marketing material. So we want to be able to measure it. And how do we measure it? We can do a promotional, like a coupon code. We can do a service like a calling service,
Yep.
where the number was only placed on that marketing material. We can use a URL shortener, so the URL was only placed on that marketing piece of print material. So that way, on the back end, I can find, it's like, yeah, we just did a direct mailer. We sent out 1,000, and 2% did actually go to the website.
Yep.
Or 5% actually called the number that was only on that direct mail. At least now I know how effective that piece of direct print marketing was.
Definitely
So
makes
that's
sense.
kind of that hybrid
Yep.
model.
But it feels like digital marketing is becoming more challenging, because with different algorithms, I still kind of crack up because I get a lot of friends who yell at me. They're like, hey, I did a post on Facebook yesterday. Why didn't you like it? Then say it, Peter. So people, I still come across a lot of clients who believe when they post something that Mark Zuckerberg's going, attention, Peter Berson has posted, you're seeing everything.
Yeah, there's a little red light that goes on at Facebook. I was there. There's a red light there.
Yeah, but it's just, I get that all the time. People get mad at me. They're like, you didn't like my post. I'm like, I didn't see your post. So it's getting a little bit harder without having to pay to get the stuff seen? Or is that just me?
Well, it is getting harder, so here's what's happening. Like for people in marketing that want to do marketing, digital marketing, they figure out how to game the system. To be honest, I mean, this is what Google said. Oh, you need backlinks. Backlinks is a link referring to your website. Back in the day, people said, oh, we can fix this. We'll just create hundreds and hundreds of backlinks. We'll kick up hundreds of servers, and we'll link back to the site. Well, that's not what Google's intention was. Google's intention is to create a quality product. Yelp, here's another one. I actually had a great conversation with Yelp because they were trying to sell me on some ads when I put my business in there. And I asked the salesperson, I go, you know what, you guys have a bad rep. Everybody says that Yelp hides reviews or things like that. And she basically explained to me, no, we want real reviews.
Sure.
If the business owner goes and says, I'm going to give you 10% off your meal, as long as you put a Yelp review on, that's not organic, that's not natural.
Right.
And what Yelp sees is a business that went from, I don't know, an average of like 25 views a weekend to 150.
Flags it.
flags it and then doesn't show those 150 views.
Yep.
It makes sense because Yelp is trying to give a quality product.
Sure.
Because if their product, if the quality of the product's not there, then people aren't going to use Yelp. Same thing with Google. We have other search engines. We have Bing.
Right.
But I was working with the tool SEMrush, and we were looking at, I think it was Amazon. Is the majority of the traffic, like 93% of the search traffic was from Google. Google's producing a pretty quality product, and they have the power and they have the AI to update their algorithms and whack you on the head. It's what we call it the Google slap. And I thought I had everything figured out, and also your website goes from page 1 to page 30.
Right.
Because the techniques you were using were incorrect.
Yep. But now we enter the spring market for the real estate market, and there's not a day I don't go online that at least one of the 3 posts I see, we're in the spring market, you want to buy or sell a house, call me. Okay, I understand you were trying to remind me, but I'm not finding enough people saying, here's 3 tips to how to sell or buy a house in the spring market. Aren't you better off doing educational marketing versus just a, hey, use me?
Yeah, so we're shifting. The people that get better responses, I mean, for yourself, right? Call me, buy my product.
Yeah.
10% off today only.
Right, yeah.
Right. Wouldn't it be nicer if we formed a relationship with you and not try to sell you something, but try to teach you something?
Yeah.
And over time, and then later on, if you see something on my website, it's like, we're running a spring special. You've developed that relationship. Or on public TV, we have this dating relationship in the bar.
Yeah.
You're not going to walk up to the girl and ask the girl to leave, go home with you, right after you introduce yourself.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work that way. Marketing works the same way. We're relationship people. We want to be educated. We want to be, dated a little bit before we get involved in a relationship.
Yep. So, brand new business owner watching the show, a little bit overwhelmed. What's the steps? Where should they start? Do they start with the website?
Yeah. I was just speaking to somebody today, and I said, you need the foundation of a proper website to build your business. And you did the template, and the problem is we're hitting walls with that quick and dirty template that you threw up just to get started. So maybe that was good for the first few months, but if you're looking to grow the business and you're looking to become a pretty established business, because we want to plug in e-commerce, which it kind of has. We want to plug in a calendar booking service. She wants to plug in a login portal where people will pay to do online course training. I said, yeah, you kind of have to move off of the company's template into a bigger WordPress type site, so that WordPress is a very large hosting platform that the majority of the sites use today.
Yep.
And because there are a lot of people that write plugins and tools that work very well with WordPress. So when we get to the WordPress site, there are other platforms, not just WordPress, but WordPress is one of the bigger ones. We can find the plugins that you need, and we can build all of the stuff you're talking about over the next 6 months to a year. So yeah, a good foundation site, and also give you not only building the website, but build that website that has the basic SEO optimization, search engine optimization in place.
Before we move to SEO, there's an expression we all use, content is king. What does that mean?
Google likes content, mainly because when they crawl your website, the more content you have, the more prominent the website is. And we're into the age of machine learning and artificial intelligence. And Google's one of the big corporations that are investing in this technology. So they know a lot of things about your site. So if you tried to, this is going back, not only backlinks, but keyword stuffing, where you would put white on white, a white background with the keywords at the bottom of the page, nobody's going to scroll down there as they can't see it.
Right, yeah.
Well, when we have the processing power to read that, Google sees that you had 1 million words of the same word.
Yeah.
And they'll give you the Google slap and you'll be delisted. So, yes, proper site, proper search engine optimization, which big part, about 45% of that, and our methods that we talk about is producing content. Because that, Google learns that you are the authority in that subject matter. The more content you produce, they'll say, hey, Kevin's a big networking guy, because we're seeing content, and then there's a whole bunch of other things. We're seeing references to New England B2B. We're seeing references to Friends of Kevin all through the internet. Google's learning that over time,
Right.
and starts to show up.
Now, like you said, it's just an interesting concept. One of the things that I see people struggle with is like, okay, they meet a digital marketing person and they're like, all right, we understand that we need to invest some money in SEO, maybe paid, clicks, but they're naive. They're like, okay, so Peter, like using me as an example, I want to be numero uno for the word networking. Not networking in Boston, networking and through the whole free world. I should get that, what, in 2 or 3 days tops? Chuckle?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
It doesn't work that way, right? Just because
No.
you're hiring someone to do some SEO, some optimization,
Right.
it's not something that happens overnight, right?
It definitely doesn't happen overnight. And if you're going to go the paid search route, like generic terms like that, well, one, what is networking?
Yeah. Could
Right.
be computer, it could be
Computer
business,
networking
yeah.
and business-to-business networking are two different things.
Sure, yeah.
And when people do things incorrectly, as long as the relatively where you pointed them to is okay, Google's going to take your money.
Yeah.
We went through this, and this person was a little bit nervous about pulling back on Google.
Yeah.
I said, but the problem is you're spending money and you're not converting those clicks
Right, yep.
to sales. You don't want to be doing that. Google has products that are like smart.
Yeah.
I'll call I think Smart Campaign or Google Lite, where they try to make it easy, right? Whenever you make something easy, you're losing some of that control. Letting Google or whatever the platform
Yep.
do things for you. Well, they try to do the best they can, but because you lost that control, you're not really optimizing it to the most efficient way, and then you end up wasting money.
And you also have to think about the keywords people are searching for you for. Because I find a lot of people, never really bothered to try to figure that out.
Yeah.
Where, like you said, you may, be looking for the term digital marketing. Maybe you know that. Maybe using online marketing, internet marketing. So you got to kind of understand what people are searching for when you're trying to do SEO.
Yeah, so one of both paid search and SEO is we do a lot of keyword research. And even for content, you can do the same thing. There's a couple of websites. It's Ask the Public, and you basically type in the search, whatever you're doing, networking or business networking,
Yep.
and they will utilize what they're seeing on the internet, like all these different titles, like what is business networking,
Right. Yeah.
all these different questions, and they'll tell you what to put in for sometimes we call it clickbait, but
Yep.
like the titles that Google's want. Google does this,
Yep.
so they do it. There's actually a site called Think with Google. You can just go into the search bar and start typing. You notice how it will auto-fill in the words?
Yep.
That's because Google's algorithm kind of knows what people are searching for. So they're actually telling you. On keywords, there's a product that Google offers called Google Trends. It will tell you the volume of those keywords. And then if you're into the Google AdWords platform, there's a Google Keyword Planner that you type in your keywords. They'll give you a whole bunch of other suggestions. They'll tell you what they cost, what are the volume. So you can get a better idea before you commit to that paid search campaign, what is the proper phrases.
When do you know you should start doing paid search? Is there some sort of trigger, like, hey, I mean, a lot of us are trying to, be on every platform. So we're going on every social media thing we can find, and if they make a new one tomorrow, I'm going to set up a profile. Thinking, if I have, 30 profiles. Well, Peter, if you're Googling Kevin Willet and I'm on 30 different platforms, I should win, right? But if I'm not active, then does it help?
Oh yeah, so if you're not, don't create profiles and then don't.
But I find a
post
lot of
any
people
content.
do. I chuckle. I'll come across a friend on Instagram. Like, hey, I didn't know Peter's on Instagram. And you look, and Peter's got following 2 people, being followed by 1, and hasn't done a post yet. No real value, right?
Yeah, there's no.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not going to get any real value from the platform. It's almost better not to have that account on there if you're not going to be able to feed it. So a lot of times I say that is like, do what you can handle and
Sure.
do that well.
Yep, makes sense.
If you can't, handle all of the platforms, I mean, there are tools that kind of automate it, but then you get into the what we call like the artificial piece, where you can tell that the same content is being posted
Sure.
and then
Yeah.
it's not formatted right. Each platform makes it slightly difficult. Like Instagram wants it in portrait mode, and so now you have to have graphics. And there are tools that will allow you to do this to kind of help you out. But then there's a cost to that, so you kind of have to weigh that. But the key piece is pick a platform that you enjoy and you're going to actually utilize.
My concern, Peter, on that, like I'm very heavily on Facebook. A lot of my business is driven by Facebook. What if it goes away? I find a lot of people put all their effort into one channel. Hey, I love this. For me, it's interesting, Peter, because as you know, in the B2B group, many of my clients, we should be promoting on LinkedIn. They don't want it. Put my stuff on Facebook. Like, Peter, your client's out there. No, I use Facebook. I like Facebook. I want to see my post on Facebook.
I think you kind of almost answered your own question. Yeah. If your clients aren't on the platform that you're posting, then that's a problem.
Right, and I see this a lot.
And LinkedIn's changed. When I don't know when I found it was like 2000. Yeah. When they first came out, I used LinkedIn to track people where they're moving in their careers. Yeah. And in the beginning, that was LinkedIn. It was like, hey, it's like an online resume. Yeah. See where Kevin moved when he moved from job to job. You'd be able to, we're a first connection.
Right, yeah.
I'll be able to see when you move that job so we can stay in touch. But now it is a big career platform. Recruiters use it, but it's moving more to a social selling platform. If I want to target, there's another product that they produce, a sales navigator.
Sure. Yep.
If I know who my customers are or the companies I'm going after, I can search that. I can find the president. I can find the president or the CEO. I can find the director of marketing. Yep. And then I can directly reach out to them and say, hey, I'm building out my professional network. Right. I was wondering if you'd like to make a connection. Yep. But again, we're going back, we talked about earlier, is as soon as they say, yeah, sure, I'd love to make a connection. Right. Do you want me to, sell you my $500,000 networking piece of equipment? Yeah. No, that's not what the platform is. Platform is for relationship selling, social selling, produce good content if your customers are there. Eventually, your customers or your prospects will say, thank you. That piece of content was relevant to me. I liked it and I enjoyed it. Is there, maybe we can do business together.
Down to 40 seconds left, Pete. Last question, video. No one loves video more than me. I host a cable TV show. Is it really as important as Kevin thinks it is?
Yes.
That sums it up pretty good. Pete, I really appreciate you taking the time to jump on the show. As simple as that, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Today on the show we have